Hey guys, it's LynkPlaysGames. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to First Snow. So, we just got into Act 1. I don't know how many acts there are of this. Hold on. Let me pull up Steam and see if I can find out. Okay. So there's Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. So that's good. There's gonna be a lot of gameplay of this. I'm kind of glad for that. Part of me was hoping that there wouldn't be, but I'm glad that there is because I'm actually really enjoying this. So let's get back to it. With the job done, I close the cabinets and get back up to look out the room. The apartment is barely any warmer inside than out. I suppose there are downsides as well as upsides. Putting it out of my mind as best as I can, I head back down to Rose. Slipping back outside and closing the door behind me, familiar clangs and bangs carry on the air as well as Rose still works away. Pass a rag, would you? I quickly take a seat near her on a patch cleared of snow, grabbing one of the turnip pieces. The turnip pieces? I'm guessing some of these words are spelt incorrectly. Or maybe that's just the way it's said in some parts. I've never heard of turnip pieces of old shirt. I've heard torn up pieces of old shirt. Anyways, handing it to her, she seems to be cleaning out some part of the engine or another. Anything interesting happen at school? Not really. The schoolwork isn't too hard so far, and a friend wants to start a club. A club, huh? That's cool. What kind? An art club, apparently. I'm not really sold on it, though. I need to study, and she basically came up with the whole idea by herself. Rose passes the rag back and puts the part in place, motioning for me to hold it while she wrenches it back in. After a few grunts, the job appears to be done as she puts the wrench down with a clunk and turns back towards me. Life's not about studying. I know you were a teacher's pet back in high school, but you could stand to be a little bit more social. So it's this again, another downside of living here. With so much of my time spent alone with Rose, there's, for better or worse, no easy way to escape her questioning. I know she has my best interest in mind, though. I'm glad to have someone around to help me get to grips with adult life, even if I did find her intimidating at first. So the main character finds everybody intimidating? What was your college life like? Never had the chance to go. I'm left a little surprised as she gets back to her bike. I've only known Rose for a couple of months now, so I'm still finding out new things about her all the time. Maybe you get why I'm on your case about this stuff now. Not everyone gets the chances you have, so make the most of it. Go to parties, get some friends, find a boyfriend sometime. Even if it doesn't last, it'll be a start. My family always pushed me to put such things aside and focus on my education, so that's what I did. The simplicity of life back then suited me just fine, and it worked out well going by my scholarship. I was never really interested in boys because I was so caught up in learning, is what I'd like to say, but I'm honest enough with myself to know that's not the whole story. Ah. Okay. Seeing Eileen last week reminded me of that. Women like her keep catching my eye, and then there was that painting of hers. As time goes on, that difference in what I like looking at gets harder and harder to explain away. I thought it was clicking in my brain, and I was like, no, I just want to just see that everywhere. I knew it. Love that. Okay.
Allison?
I hastily place a rag in her outstretched hand, Rose using it to try to rub some of the oil and grease off of her hands. I'm sure she wouldn't mind if I'm not straight if that's truly the case. While I'd like to talk to her about it, I can never quite seem to find the right time.
You right? Huh?
Yeah, I was just thinking how life's complicated.
Whatever you say.
Hey, you bought that ice cream I asked for while you were out? It's in the freezer now. Why? How about we have some? Could use a treat after working all morning on this. She has the strange ideas about what makes a good dessert in the cold of winter, but I'm not gonna stop her. As the two of us start packing up, another peaceful day rolls by. That's lovely. A loud yawn from Rose. Something from the couch. The droning of the television briefly overshadowed. The only other sound is the coffee pot boiling away from the kitchen, punctuated by the occasional passing car. Only half awake and still acting on autopilot, I lazily wiped the sleep from my eyes and staggered towards the door. The smell of Rose's toast wafts invitingly through the air, making me envious of her later start to work. I let out a loud yawn before I could stifle it, causing Rose to look over from the couch. I struggle with words. I love Rose's tattoo. Wow, you look like hell. Ouch. Thank you. Stayed up too late playing on your phone or something? Doesn't look like you've got an hour of sleep. While Rose is less than tactful about this, it's true that I shouldn't be so tired. I'm usually a morning person, but right now I could barely remember where I even put my phone. She picks herself up from the couch as she finishes her breakfast, brushing toast crumbs off herself as she starts towards the kitchen. Just neighbors being loud again. I'm surprised you didn't hear them. I may say that, but it's hardly any real shock. She sleeps like a log, which I've always been jealous about. Rose puts down the plate in her hand, giving the matter more thought than I'd intended. The ones above us, right? Man, I'm sick of them. I'll go have a talk with them later today to get them to knock it off. Making a racket during the day is one thing, but the night's another. You don't have to do that. They might be quiet from now on anyway. She looks surprisingly disappointed at my attempts to wave off her concern. You have to stand up for yourself sometimes, Allison. Waiting for things to blow over ain't always going to work. I wind up rubbing my neck and avoid outright answering. Apparently dropping the topic, she sighs and disappears into the kitchen after taking her plate again. I just don't want to cause a fuss, especially on my behalf. Is that really so bad? With time rolling by, I glance about and see my phone on the corner of the table. Slipping it into my coat pocket, I skip over it and grab my bag sitting by the door. As I stretch a bit and try to wake myself up before facing the cold outside, Rose calls out from behind me. Turning to see her, shows a fistful of crumpled dollar bills in the hand thrust out towards me. Here, go buy yourself an espresso or something on the way.
Huh?
It's fine, you don't have to. Just take it, you look awful. She really does have a way with words. Ouch. I know I look awful, so like imagining like hearing that right now, I'd be like, oh, the audacity. I reluctantly take the cash and slip it into my pocket, thanking Rose as I leave. As soon as I get out the door, the weather hits me. It looks like it's gonna be a harsh winter this year, with the cold of the snow dumping down being made all the worse by the chilly fog hanging in the air. Twisting my head to and fro to bury it in my scarf a little better. I set off down towards the road with hands firmly lodged in my coat pockets. There doesn't seem to be too many people around that are brave in the weather, not that I blame them. Oh, that was so cool to like actually hear it go by. That was awesome. As the muffled sound of the snow under the tires rings out, a garbage truck rumbles by. It's only after worrying a few seconds that I remember I did indeed put the garbage out for collection yesterday. Reaching the campus, the welcome sight of a cafe nearby lifts my spirits. I've overheard campus students mention the coffee here is good, and conveniently right next to the campus. It looks homely enough from the outside and only has a handful of people inside at this hour. I peer through the windows with a quick brush of the fallen snow off my shoulder and bag. I take a deep breath and walk in. A bell above the door rings out as I enter the smell of coffee on the air combining with the homely styling inside making for an immediately cozy atmosphere. Ooh, that does look cozy. The oak tree. That's a coffee shop I would trust, definitely. As soon as I hear cozy coffee shop, I want to go. There's actually one, like, not too far away, going, like, the town over from me, that has, like, there's no sit down. It's just a drive-through. And it's, like, literally got 2 drive-thrus going, like, around the building one way and then around the building the next way. They've got the best coffees. They make their frozen coffee with ice cream. Ah, so good. Anyways, so joining the couple of people in line, I quickly rehearse the order in my mind to make sure I get it right. The barista's nice smile towards the other patrons keeps making me trip over myself. I've never been great in dealing with strangers. Coming to the front of the line, I manage to blurt out my order of a latte with sugar before I can mess it up. She smiles and takes my payment, leaving me to wait to the side as it's prepared. I briefly consider having it here given how relaxing the cafe is. That's before I notice Caprice, loudly chatting with the tall man sitting across from her. I'm surprised I didn't notice them. I must really be out of it. Who's the tall man? As the cute barista slides the coffee cup towards me, I decide I better leave the two in peace and drink outside. Before I can, Caprice catches sight of me and begins excitedly waving her hand in the air.
Allie! Hey, Allie! Over here! Allie!
Ah, that is my worst nightmare. If any of my friends are watching this, you do that to me, and we ain't friends. I don't know you. I am running out of there. If you chase after me, I'm screaming stranger danger. Don't you yell at me in a crowded place. Jesus. So much for that. Coffee in hand, I wearily walk over to their table and look from one to the other.
Morning, Caprice.
Oh, oops. Upon Caprice moving her backpack off a chair and placing it on the floor, I take a seat.
Here's a good friend and one of the founding members of the art club.
The new art club.
Oh. This is Caprice's rodeo, so I'm content to let her deal with the club as she wants at this point. It takes me a moment to realize that she referred to me as a good friend in particular. We've only known each other for a couple of months since the semester started, but I'm glad she thinks of me like that.
Right. I am some guy Caprice found.
So creepy. You know, I'm just some guy she found.
He's our fourth member.
Fourth member? What? As he sighs, all I can offer is a stilted smile in response. Caprice looked so comfortable dealing with him that I assumed they knew each other already. Come to think of it, she had no problem dealing with Eileen either, despite barely knowing her. I'm impressed at how she could talk to strangers with just the same confidence as friends. Maybe she even considers him one already.
So what'd you get up to over the weekend, Allie?
Just housework and errands. It's surprising how much time I spend on that sort of thing now that I've moved out.
I get what you mean. Thankfully, I split the work with my roommates.
It's my roommate that makes me want to pick up the slack. Caprice looks to Wallace for his input, making him part of the
I
conversation.
look after the family gun shop on weekends. Nothing glamorous, but enough to get by on.
Oh, okay. It's just a stranger that you met that, you know, looks after the family gun shop on the weekends. Uh-huh. Crazy. Caprice continues on chatting, mostly with him. Wallace quietly nods along, adding a yeah or I see as needed. I get the distinct feeling he's being talked at more than being talked to. Oh, we're just gonna zoom in on creepy guy. I don't feel comfortable. Creepy guy. Something just... Now that we're both sitting across from each other, I can fully appreciate how much of a bear the man is. Cutting more of a foreboding figure thanks to his beard. I could already feel myself shrinking in response. For want to not stare at him, I turned to the coffee steaming away before him. A flat black with the lid taken off to let it cool faster. I could taste how bitter it is just by looking at it. Okay. Crazy. The conversation is suddenly interrupted by a phone going off. Apparently Caprice, as her hand dives into the front pocket of her hoodie and retrieves it. Wallace and I just look at each other as she wanders off a few steps to take the call, unsure exactly what to do with ourselves. It only takes a few seconds before she returns.
Sorry, guys. Gotta go. Roommates need me.
Okay.
Wait. I'll see you two around. We've got much more to discuss.
I hope Caprice stubs her toe the moment she takes her shoes off. This better not become a lifelong friend. I'm sure that's like the only reason why she's part of the story, is she ends up becoming like a lifelong friend for the main character. I hope she just somehow steps on a Lego when there's no Legos that belong in the house. With that, she grabs her backpack and skips out into the winter air without another word. Going by her face, I'm more worried about this than she is. Left alone with Wallace, I sip my coffee for something to do, glancing his direction. He looks more relieved than anything.
She means well.
Yeah. I know she does.
Even if Eileen doesn't think so, I just have to keep telling myself that.
Okay, so he's friends with Eileen. And now I'm glad I didn't say that. As much as I would like to leap to her defense, she's pushing this awfully hard. If he's trying to start a conversation, I feel like I should at least try to reciprocate, other than letting him twist in the wind.
So, you and Eileen
He gives a nod after taking a long sip of his coffee. That must be...
We're friends. Met when she was a freshman in high school. Caprice saw us together and made the connection.
Ah.
Oh,
She's filled me in on this club business. I'm going to guess you were pulled into it.
something like that. It kind of spiraled out of control. Sorry.
Wallace simply shrugs.
Not the first time clubs have been pushy about scouting members. I was actually thinking the whole thing might be good for Eileen. Single-mindedness is her best and worst trait, really. I don't want to say please put up with Eileen, but I'm having trouble working out a better way to word that.
Jeez.
She isn't a bad person, just driven. I'm sure you know someone similar.
You can't tell me that Caprice and Eileen are the same. They're not. Caprice makes me want to throw her out the window. Eileen just seems like somebody who wants to throw me out the window. I do shudder what her reaction would be being told that she and Caprice are similar in any way. But I'm still not sure about dealing with her. It's hard to deny someone worried about their friend. He seems content that he managed to get his point across, silence hanging in the air as he thoughtfully sips his coffee. It reminds me that I should drink my own before it gets cold as well. The weather outside is a harsh contrast to the nice atmosphere in here, which might be why more students are starting to file in before classes start. The coffee's nice as well, so maybe I'll make this a regular spot if I could afford to, that is. As for my companion, I think I'm starting to see him in a better way. He's just concerned about his friend. Maybe he's the gentle giant type, who isn't that threatening at all. With his cup empty, he sets it down. Wallace sits back to savor the last of its taste.
Well, I've said my piece. Caprice will probably give up on me, but you and Eileen are another matter.
Caprice is a good friend. I can handle her. It was nice meeting you, Wallace.
I carefully repeat his name to try to engrave it in my memory. I have no doubt I'd instantly forget it otherwise. He's perhaps overly hopeful when it comes to Caprice, though.
Thanks. You seem nice, so hopefully Eileen will ease off a bit.
He levers himself off the chair with a grunt, taking a glance outside before grabbing his scarf and a hat once more.
Good luck with class.
Thanks. You too.
With that, he leaves the cafe while sliding past someone coming in, staggering through the terrible weather outside as he goes. With my next class so soon, I better finish this coffee off quickly. With that in mind, I concentrate on taking as big gulps as I can without looking unsightly. It's funny how one thing leads to another, though. It feels like a snowball's begun to start rolling, meeting new and interesting people since I started here. It might have taken a couple of months, but maybe I'll manage to find some new friends. Okay, so this looks like it's the end of this. Okay, yep. Maybe? No. Okay. But I am gonna end this video here. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.